Walmart employee surprised when she sees her ex-husband after 43 years, holding a sign. We've all heard stories about people who had marriages that stood the test of time. We also hear a lot of stories about those who were married and divorced for some reason or another. Sometimes there's a mixture between the two, and it often comes as a surprise. That surprise came to a head when an ex-husband walked into Walmart in Fort Smith, Arkansas. His ex-wife was working as a Walmart employee at that store. At one time, 43 years ago, they'd been married, but the marriage didn't last at first. It took a long time, but finally he was back and had an awesome proposal for her. He showed up on Valentine's Day, walked right into Walmart, and showed her a heartwarming sign that she couldn't resist. The wedding proposal was a complete surprise. Both of these individuals are now 75 years old, but they first met in 1959 on an army base in Germany. Renata Stump happened to meet Louis Detremades, and it was a case of love at first sight. They were only 19 years old at the time. "I was working in the kitchen at the army base, and he was a soldier," the woman recalls. "The first time I ever saw him, he asked me if I could fix him a hamburger. He liked who he saw, so he asked to go help me out in the kitchen." Renata didn't necessarily want to go along with Louis at first, but he was very persistent. It didn't take long before a relationship was formed, and since that time, they had 3 children together. They were together for almost 13 years, but then they got a divorce. There were a number of determining factors for the divorce, including the language barrier and financial difficulties. "We had little financial support. I didn't know anything and I could barely speak English," Renata said to ABC News. "We started arguing about every little thing." After the divorce, both of them remarried and eventually split up with their second spouses. Both of those second spouses had recently passed away, and this couple had been living in the United States all these years. Renata realized that she still had feelings for her first husband. When she got in touch with one of her daughters, she explained how life would be incomplete without him by her side. "When we saw each other again last December, we knew right then we still loved each other for sure," the man said. "That love has never passed." The daughter then got involved, and the surprise was born several months before it actually took place. When Renata and Louis were reunited on that day, it had been 43 years in the coming. It's unknown if they continued to have contact during those years in between, but the reunion was certainly well worth waiting for. "Hey, good looking," Louis says to her. The man held up a large sign in the middle of the Walmart store that read, "Happy Valentine's Day. Will you marry me?" Renata was overcome with emotion and didn't expect to see Louis after all that time. After the proposal, they gave each other a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Louis continued to ask her to marry him, and she declined, but she was only teasing. She then let him know that she would marry him, but just not today. 43 years is a long time, so I wasn't sure at first, Renata said, but I will marry him, though, because he's changed for the better, I've come to realize. "And why did I come to Walmart to propose to my wife again? It's because she has so many friends here, and I knew she would like to share that with them," Louis added. She also informed reporters that it was her favorite Valentine's Day of all time. They're both happy to be back together again, and it is heartwarming to see this unfold. "There's no rush at my age. God put us together again, and it couldn't be any other way after all these years," Renata concluded. Isn't that special?